Hey, what's up? We're back with another post-fight show. Remember, if you like the content, hit that like and subscribe button. Also follow us on our social media channels. We're at the Mandatory TKO. We are going to get into Amanda Serrano and Stevie Morgan later on in the show because that's the one I really want to break down. But we got to definitely start off with the performance Jake Paul just put on against Mike Perry, who I have no idea was still standing throughout that fight, Bryan. Ridiculous, gritty, showed a lot of heart, but Jake Paul was just too much for him. And quite the performance from Jake Paul because you can see that he actually has gotten better. And Bryan, your thoughts on his performance and what we just saw tonight?
And please, as always, if you do have comments on this, and we'll take all of them tonight because we ain't trying to be here for that long. It is 1:10 a.m. on the East Coast. But in terms of Jake Paul's progression, I don't think he looked great tonight. I don't think he looked great tonight at all. Not at all. Let's not exaggerate. He knocked down Mike Perry 3 times. Whoop de whoop.
Yeah. That's why
Jesus,
Jesus is like nobody cares. But
classic Jesus. Although tonight I don't necessarily blame you. Hopefully you care about the post fight show. But I think yeah, he looked fine. He looked tired in like the third round. He looked gassed. It looked like he ran a 5K or an 8K or a marathon or like I don't know. Was he not eating properly before this? Like I was questioning like his diet and things of that nature by the end of the third round. I'm like, why is he so tired already? His mouth was hanging wide open actually in the second round. The third round is where he looked gassed. In the fourth round, he got a second win and then he picked it back up. And it was the fight I expected. Like Mike Perry, like as soon as the fight started, he gets dropped 20 seconds in. And this is what I said before when we were talking about the preview of like Mike Perry doesn't keep his hands anywhere near his chin. This is a problem when you're fighting because you should probably have at least one of your hands near your chin as often as you could, especially when you have boxing gloves as opposed to bare knuckle fighting. I don't know. Like I think Jake Paul, he did what he was supposed to do, which is win me my bet. But no, he did what he was supposed to do, which is stop another former MMA fighter. Now he's going to fight Mike Tyson in November, and he's calling out Alex Pereira now and other cruiserweights in the world of boxing. He says he wants to be the cruiserweight champion. I'm not sure he knows who the cruiserweight champions are in the sport. We'll see.
yeah, I think Jake Paul, I don't know if it was his conditioning leading up to the fight, but he didn't look as like swole. Like he looked big, but he didn't look as like toned as he normally does.
Yeah,
So I was questioning
thick.
his diet as well. He did look a little bit thicker. And he was gassed after that third round. And then it's like he caught a second wind after. But I think for the most part, from what we saw from Jake Paul, like his jab looked unbelievable at this point. Like for
I
him,
know what
for
you mean.
Jake Paul,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's
Okay, I
gone.
was like unbelievable.
He
Like
doesn't for Jake
I know
Paul,
what
yeah.
you mean. Yeah,
From
that's
what
the
he
best.
fought,
That's the best his jab look. Yes, I agree. I
yeah,
agree.
like
Although
he
to be fair, I mean we could probably all jab somebody who doesn't have a hand near their face, like
I
effectively.
mean,
Right?
yeah,
I
but
know what you mean. Yeah,
he
yes.
was still effective. He was still effective, right? Because the jab was the reason why he was able to set up his other shots. So he was
Yes.
timing things very well.
Yes.
And at the same time, though, I was like, I don't even know if this is a good performance, though, which is weird because his jab looked good. He was able to time shots and he was able to land. He was able to knock down Perry multiple times. But when you have a guy that's coming forward that is defensively irresponsible, that's not putting his hands up, there's no guard, he's literally walking into your shots, you're going to have that type of success, period. Right? Mike Perry was there to be hit and he was getting hit. And the one thing that I will say is that Mike Perry, tough as nails, I was surprised that he actually made it that far into the sixth round because honestly, after the second round, I was like, this might be a wrap. Like after the first round, I was a little bit worried. But Jake Paul got it done. And listen, he's going to take on Mike Tyson in November. And I don't even know how I feel about that fight now. Just because we know Mike Tyson is older, he's 58 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he's going to get a big payday, but is it worth it at this point? Because everyone that Jake Paul is picking to fight, he's having these performances.
Who's gonna have better stamina in that fight? Serious question.
Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is gonna have better stamina in that. Power's the last to go. I think it was when he fought Roy Jones. I was like, he looks pretty good, Mike. Mike's good
He
out
looked good
there,
in that
yo.
fight. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
fight. He looked legit. I don't want Mike Tyson to fight Jake Paul, but it's gonna happen. Maybe. I mean, if we have another medical episode, then shit. Maybe Jake Paul will fight. I don't know, Uriah Hall, who almost beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Mike Tyson was walking with a cane before he pulled out with the fight. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I get the aura of it. He's one of the best boxers. He's one of my favorite boxers, Mike Tyson. I'll be like, I fell in love with the
Yes, of
sport because
course.
of Mike.
Yes.
But he's 58 years old. That's like my mom's age.
He hasn't he
Like,
hasn't fought since 2005 professionally, like
yeah.
non-exhibition. Like that was the last time he's actually fought. Even then, he was approaching 40, which is old even in heavyweight boxing in a lot of cases. In 2005, like goddamn, Mariah Carey's "We Belong Together" was like the most played song on BET. That was a long
It's such
fucking
a good
time ago.
song.
That's
Yeah,
a long time
good
ago.
track.
I got so tired of watching 106 in Park, and that song was number one every goddamn week. Um, Listen, I
Was it
like
still, yeah, was it still Roxy and Terrence at that time?
no, no.
It was Bow Wow and Keisha Shante?
Oh, actually, no. You might have been right. It was Roxy
Okay,
and
yeah,
Terrence.
yeah.
I was rooting for back then by Mike Jones to be number one, and I think it only happened a couple different times. Um, I mean, Jake Paul's great against the former MMA fighters. This is his bag. He's 10-1 now. Like what? 10-1 now with 7 knockouts in his career. The WBC has gotten a hard on for him and potentially ranking him in the cruiserweight division. Yada yada yada. There, coincidentally, we did get a new cruiserweight champion for the WBC crowned in November, and I don't come away from this fight thinking that Jake Paul is going to be a cruiserweight champion. But he said after the fight, that's his goal. This is the third straight fight that he's weighed in at or right at the 200-pound cruiserweight limit. He was
He looked
199 the last couple times.
massive. He looked massive against
Yes.
Mike Perry. Like he was being a weight bully. He must have been like 235 or something. He must have like put on like 30 pounds or something after. He looked massive. When he got in the ring, I was like, yo, Mike Perry, I don't know how this is gonna go for him. Because I thought honestly, Mike Perry's so tough that I changed my bet. I had Jake Paul winning by knockout. I'm like, yo, Mike Perry is one tough son of a, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he went 6 rounds. But if he was just a little bit more defensively responsible, I think he could have gone 8.
Which
I think if he wasn't using his face as a bag to get hit, he could have lasted a little bit long, you know? But
Okay, so we have comments. Let's get to them. We have a bunch, and yeah, we got a couple about Ashton Sylvie, and H2O. We saw a knockout of the year contender, but we're gonna get to that in a little
a
bit.
Canadian as well.
Yes, that's a massive upset. I forgot what the line was for that fight. I am PK13, friend of the show as always. I think Paul got overhyped emotionally before the fight. He was acting kind of
That's
weird
what
in
I
the
was
pre-fight
saying.
promo.
I legit texted Brian and I was like, yo, it looks like he's so weird in that promo. I won't say.
You said more than
I have
that,
no
but
proof.
yeah. Let's be
I
responsible.
don't got
trying
no
to
proof
get
of
this
what
stuff.
he
We're
was
trying to
doing.
get this. We're trying to get this show sponsored. We want to be
I
somewhat
just
responsible.
thought he was being weird. You know what I mean? I've been at parties where people have been weird before, and I was like, okay, so I mean, we can't.
No, but you
say
saw
it,
the
but
interview. You saw the interview with Ariel Helwani, where
yeah.
the answers were mad short.
And
Logan
he was like turned around, and then he was like, hey, the camera's this way, and he's like, oh, sorry. Like, what
Yeah,
do you
but
like?
I thought he was just doing like Gen Z influencer, just haha bullshit. Like,
How is
you
that
know.
cool? Like, am I too old to understand why that's entertainment? Like, I must be some old ass bee now because like that was not funny to me. I was just thinking like, yo, like, why is he being so weird? Like, that's what I was thinking the entire time. So I'm PK13. I'm rock with you there. I thought it was being weird.
Hustle, man. Jake Paul's undefeated against UFC fighters. I get they want the payday, but damn, to get humiliated like that against a YouTuber that just started boxing shows anything is possible. Jake Paul's been boxing since 2017, 18, something like that. Not professionally, like actually, like there's videos of him just starting out where he clearly doesn't know what he's doing, and over the course of a few years, he became this, and now several years later, he's this.
Yeah.
Where I mean, he's He's knocked out a couple of actual quote unquote boxers in the first round of fights, but again, we did the resume check on this show before, and
Come
it,
on, Andre August and like
it,
Ryan Borland. Like, what are we
yeah,
talking about
yeah,
here?
yeah.
Like, who have they fought? Like,
Because
no disrespect to them, but
honestly, I think the best name on Jake Paul's resume, the best win on Jake Paul's resume is Anderson Silva. I think you might
yeah,
agree with me on that. Like Anderson Silva beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., which is not the win that many people may think it is in 2020,
yeah,
in the 2020s. Uriah Hall again won like at least 2 rounds against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I thought that fight was going to be a draw.
yeah. I'm kind of disappointed in Chavez. Not gonna lie to you.
Kinda.
That's
I think
that
you and everybody else.
that's not how it should go. At
I love
all.
I love Uriah Hall, Queens
Yeah.
native. You know what I mean? I did a profile on him before when he was in the UFC toward the end of his career. I think it was before the Paulo Costa fight, which he lost. Uriah Hall's great, but Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Man, he should fight Jake Paul next. Honestly, I think that I you want to give me a real like let's be serious here for like 30 seconds and then we'll get back to jokey jokes. But like you want to give me a serious ass Jake Paul opponent fight that I will be locked into and tuned into, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I legitimately want to see if he could beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I'm not even joking.
I I just I just don't want to be disappointed if Chavez loses. Like, what did we see tonight? What did we see tonight? You know what I mean? Like what is going on here? And you know what? I do give Jake Paul props. He has gotten better, and I do like what he's done for women's boxing. I love what he's done for with the help with Amanda Serrano. Like, he deserves a lot of credit for that.
Deja Green, French on Cruz, yeah.
Like, he's done a lot for women's boxing, and I give him props for that. I want him to fight someone real, like a real boxer. Maybe that's after I mean, Mike Tyson is a real boxer, but he's 58 years old. He's walking with a cane. He just had a medical issue. Like, fight somebody around your age that's a real boxer, and let's see how you do. Because even though he's gotten better, I think if you put him against a true cruiserweight, it's a wrap for him. I'm sorry. Like, I don't I he also drops his hands.
Yes. I think there's a real answer somewhere to this question. Mike Durazio asks, why doesn't he fight a boxer? And the answer is because he doesn't need to. Like
Yes,
honestly,
yes.
he doesn't need to. He wants to continue to win and push this gimmick as far as it can go. The most real boxer he's probably fought is Tommy Fury, and shit, that fight was close.
Yeah.
And Tommy Fury he's a boxer,
And
but
they need that rematch.
right, but there are people that don't receive. Has Tommy Fury like fought since actually?
I don't even know if he has. He got that dub and was like, forget it. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, I did what I was supposed to do. But that was, to be honest, I like Jake Paul's response after that fight, because I feel like he got humbled after that fight and he was like, I got to come back better. Like, he wasn't being cocky about it. It's like, I feel like there's such a love and hate thing with Jake Paul. Sometimes you hate the stuff that he does, and sometimes you're like, I can kind of appreciate what he's trying to do. Hustle Man,
He did fight since.
is this about what I thought was weird about his
Yes it is. Yes,
okay, we'll take that off.
He
Just
did
because we try to
fight.
get
I,
sponsors.
I remember this fight. He did fight since. It was October 14th of last year. I think it was on the same day as something else. It sounds like it was. He fought KSI and he won that fight. And remember, like, there was controversy there because like there was a point deduction. He hit KSI with an elbow that wasn't called or whatever. It was a very close fight. It was
Yeah.
Tommy Fury, he he's not like he's a boxer, but like he's not some of the other cruiserweights that Jake Paul says he wants to eventually see. So
Yeah.
if there's a division in boxing that one needs a spark and two could actually
Cruiserweight.
provide a pathway for Jake Paul to fight a champion, that the sanctioning bodies will try to sort of devise a plan. It'll be cruiserweight. They'll be like, oh yeah, like he could just beat a whole bunch of schlubs and we'll eventually get him an eliminator against a real cruiserweight, because they're going to be like, it's cruiserweight boxing, whatever, even though, I'm sure the top 5% of cruiserweights and probably more than that would just destroy him.
Yeah, I would think so because I liked his performance. I just don't think it was the best performance that he could have had. Right? And so I think it's one of those things where it's like you want to see more from Jake Paul. You want to make sure that at the same time he is eventually going to fight someone that has a good pedigree, someone that's respected. Because I think if he's fight someone that is respected, he's going to get a lot more credit, and maybe we will see him fight someone in the cruiserweight division. You said the WBC might give him a chance. There was talk about him being ranked at one point.
Yes. Badu Jack was the champion at one point. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't
Yeah.
recall if he's a champion in recess or whatever the case may be because he hasn't fought in over a year. But he ain't like Jake Paul's not beating Badu Jack. What are we talking about?
No, there's no way.
Not
He's
beating
not.
Gilberto Ramirez.
No,
You know
he's
what I
not
mean?
beating
Like,
Gilberto Ramirez at all. So who is he? Who would he beat in the cruiserweight division? But those are like the top guys.